welcome and welcome back to yet another episode of the Wellbeing Corner. As you all know, it's your sister, your daughter, your friend, Fatima. And today we are going to still talk about personal growth. We spoke about personal growth, we spoke about how to develop yourself, and a lot of things about personal growth. But in this episode, we are going to talk about how you are going to deal with your traumas as an individual, especially women. Like I said, I am much more particular about traumas women face than traumas men face because men tend to be more strong. But before we dive right in this, I would like to introduce our guest or let her introduce herself, and that's Fatima. So, Fatima,
Hi, everybody. Welcome back again to another edition of the personal growth with us. So, I'll be your guest today as well, and we'll be talking about healing. Thank you.
yes, so Fatima, I learned a lot about healing because when it comes to trauma, we don't just deal with the trauma without dealing with its possible healings. But I realized a lot of things, and then I know that you being an expert in your field, being a relationship therapist and also being a personal growth therapist and dealing with women who has gone through trauma and also associating with a lot of women who have gone through relationship breakdown that literally caused them to go through trauma. That being the reason I said I need to talk to you about this. I learn a bit and you are an expert, so we need to have a conversation about
Oh
this.
my God.
Yeah, so for me, um like we are late, but we have to apologize for being late because we should have been here by 10. But we are going to make it up to you, and we are going to make it worth staying because healing is one thing as women that we should always consider. But to me, I feel like the first step to healing is first accepting that there is something, accepting the trauma. I don't know what Fatima, as an expert, think about that, but I will let Fatima dwell more on healing and how we are going to go about healing as women, and especially Gambian women, because Gambian women, ñun Gambian jigéen yi, no, I'll just let Fatima dwell, then we will dive into it together.
I think you have already remind me of speaking Wolof as
Yeah.
you know. So yeah, ñu ngi jaajëfal ñëpp di leen.
Yeah, it's like Fatima lost her internet, but like I said, we will have Fatima back because that is Fatima's expertise, and Fatima is just the person that works with a lot of women on a daily. So I'm sure we will obviously have Fatima back. But then, like I was saying, the first step to healing is recognizing your trauma as a woman, recognizing that there's something wrong with me. It's a big step, and it's one of the most important steps because nobody goes through a process of healing if you don't know what is wrong with you. You have to first step back and think about it, have a reflection. Maybe you have gone through things and you have been going through them over and over again. Then with yourself, you come back to yourself and recognize, okay, Fatima is back. So
Gambian
we are happy to
internet.
have
So
you
ñoo ko
back, and please
gisandoo.
don't go again.
Yeah, I think it was the connection. Why the jaajëfal ñëpp di santaan ñëpp daal. Um, yeah, so about healing, dama go back a little bit to what we were discussing the last time, which is trauma.
Yeah.
And so ko xoolee trauma dafa nekk li nga xamante ne daanaka every day we go through it. Yeah, either the minor one or the major one. But then they traumatic events in the they are so unexpected. It can be a loss of a loved one, and then as well as unexpected illness being a xamantene dañ la ko announce si lopitaan bi. So with all of this, then what a source of acceptance, you know, and it requires, because all the time and started from the spiritual aspect of everything.
Yeah.
You see, understanding the spiritual backbone of our existence dafa am solo bu baax a baax si dundi doomi aadama bi. And then by us understanding, first of all, things are not even serious in this world. Like, nothing is serious, be it a big one or circumstance bi nga xamante ne mënuloo koo control. soo ko xoolee ba si biir rek danga dee xam ne there is there is not there is nothing serious about our issues. But nit tamit war naa mun a àgga certain place bi nga xamante ne si dundaam war naa gis another atmosphere, another
Why, Fatima,
surface.
yo, di nga am ñu la mere de. Because so many things are not serious. When someone is in their room and they are crying, they're breaking down because they have something that is hurting them.
No, because you know what? There is always a way out. Either you're figuring out wala figure out, there is always a way out.
So
Moi
it's,
you're gonna
yeah,
try put that a way out bobu nono, or naturally say be process to just release it. So come let's say yala num ko waxe rek dafa daf de waxa ñu de reason. And
mm-hmm,
I think a lot of us do not reason. We don't bring out the positivity out of circumstances.
mm-hmm,
So this is what is eating us up. So whole as Gambian society, we always or will always complain about lunyodal,
mm-hmm.
events lunyodal, problems lunyodal. But hey, do we even know that there is a way out, there is a healing, there is a side of you that can unlash that can release every single problem, every single thought that you have, and there's always a solution. So I just want to talk about a little bit about the logical aspect of healing. Healing logically means unlashing, like accepting and uprooting the traumatic or experience being a hamantane daf la indil discomfort si sa life bi, and through healing, because comme li ma wax the other time rek doomi aadama dafa juddu si li nga xamantane it's clean, dara taaxa ko dara toocu ko, but because of the society bi nga xamantane moom lañ dëkka, we have cultures, we have our parents yi nga xamante ne tamit dañ am connections to some of these traumas, and they bring it to us like generational traumas. All of this daf dee gaada mu nekk li nga xamante ne dañ ko package xale bi, and soo demee ba si biir sa you cannot recognize yourself anymore, you don't know who you really are. And
Yeah.
part of your healing should be finding yourself, looking deeper into your existence, man lan la, man kan la. And regardless of whatsoever identity you might have with another person, you need to first of all try to uproot. You need to also focus on, you know, the unidentified things that is within you. So
Okay. So,
let's start
Fatima,
uprooting.
yeah,
Mhm.
go on, go on.
Yeah. So I think it's a very important thing that we should focus on, like to
Um,
heal those traumas, to let them go, to
all right.
accept ne happen nañ. Yeah, it
Yeah.
happened. Yeah.
Okay, so you
Mhm.
were talking about maybe we as Gambian women or as women in general complaining about our issues. And I believe I'll take an example from West Africa because that's where I am familiar with and that's the women I have associated with. So I believe that as West African women, we complain about literally everything. So I don't know whether that complaint that we are complaining about, you will relate that complaint to trauma because I believe trauma is something that has been deep rooted in you, that is kind of inculcated in you by a person, an event, or a scenario that happened to you in the past. That is literally what you call a trauma. So if you listen to our women, we complain about brokenness, we complain about lack of food, we literally complain about everything. So I don't know whether you are going to associate Dogomala, but I just want to take you back before you go forward to distinguish the difference between just complaining and having a deep rooted trauma where you need to start healing it, deep down in you. You need to start from yourself and then start walking through it gradually and go deep down and heal it. So that is what I want you to just distinguish and clarify, make people understand. We all have traumas as individuals, but just to clarify that point.
Okay, so I will take you back to one of my videos on TikTok, Bimadef, recently,
Mhm.
just recently, explaining about some of the toxic ways we think about ourselves. And part of is it is complaining. You know,
Yeah.
if you are mentally prison, like you cannot go out from what you were taught to believe. You cannot go out from what you grow up in. Obviously, it's always about complaining. There is nothing like gratitude. There is nothing like what should I be doing? What
Yeah.
should I be helping myself with? So
Mm-hmm.
danga gis ne rek comme li ma wax, these are all things that are attached to traumas because
Yeah.
there is mooy mënoon a ñëw even somebody trying to trigger your anger, like nit ñu wax la dara nga nga jóg rek bugg a attaque boromam, it shows like naturally it shows na kii dafa am deep traumas yi nga xamante ne unhealed traumas yi nga xamante ne mu ngi si
Mm-hmm.
moom ba nga xamante ne dafa they quickly respond to critics, they quickly respond to, you know, the external of
Yeah.
what they tell them and all
That's
of
true.
that. Because
Mm-hmm.
nit ki nga xamante ne heal na properly xam na moom mooy kan, I don't think there is nothing absolutely that can shaken you, you know, as a human being. And su fekkee ne sax dem na be naxari la sax you will have a coping mechanism si instant boobu noonu, not to be able to just react to whatsoever is coming from the outside. And even
Okay.
so on the internet, it's
Mm-hmm.
happening. People
So
have
what?
so much unhealed traumas. Yi nga xamante ne tey nit
Yeah.
dafa ñëw mu comment si sa space, like danga jël sa whole time nga
Mm-hmm.
toogaat ne nga di ko reply waa
Yeah.
waruloo maa wax lii yow xam nga man may kan. They are not even entitled to some of this explanation.
So in simple words, like let's say in just a sentence, would you say that um um a consistent complaint is totally different from a person that is totally dealing with trauma?
Actually, I will not say they are totally different, but they are correlated. You know,
Okay.
they are correlated because sometimes, most of the time, what we complain, alcohol deep down is linked to a traumatic event. You know, so and also we have to be mindful that trauma could emotional. Like, trauma can be a physical thing, or they can be correlated, both physical and emotional thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because sexual violation or sexual abuse is both a physical and an emotional trauma. So
Mm-hmm.
that I just say most of the time, um, somebody complaining about brokenness or
Mm-hmm.
strength. So ko hole nit la bi nga xamantene deep down they don't even know what steps to take out of that. They feel that they are not entitled to change that situation they're they're having. Dañ
Yeah.
leen limit seen belief system dafa limit ba nga xamantene dañ feel ne everything has to come from somebody so that they can change their situation.
Yeah.
While it's not that. You
So
understand?
that makes it really interesting and amazing. But
Mm.
now we have to dive right into the solution. So I, as a Gambian young lady who has trauma, what do you think I should do as a professional who has been dealing with women that are struggling in their marriages, in their homes, parental homes, or whatever? They are just struggling with trauma. Where do you think I should start with the healing process when I am traumatized or I have a trauma about something?
You see, healing doesn't happen a day or two or even a year.
Yeah,
Like,
I really wanted to hear that.
yes,
It needs
healing
patience. Yeah.
healing can
Mhm.
be a lifetime thing. It
Yeah.
can actually be a lifetime thing. It's not something that was you will enter a day and come out. Oh
Yeah.
my God, there is no light. Nawek.
Oh my goodness. So that is
Yeah.
yeah.
You see, only this can traumatize somebody. You know, you see what I'm talking about. We go through it every single day. You know, in the
Okay.
midst of a conversation, and there is no light. But let's just take it like that. Let's be calm.
Okay.
So to continue,
Yeah.
I was talking about self awareness.
Yeah.
You know, as a person, you see, all the time when people come to me, I ask them, like, who are you? Like, what is one quality that you can talk about yourself?
Yeah.
And disappoint is always a disappointing moment that people don't even know their ability, their capacities, who they are, and what they're supposed to be doing. So part of healing your trauma
Mm-hmm.
is identifying the trauma first,
Yeah.
identifying the trauma, be it a post
Yes.
trauma or a current, a recent trauma. It depends.
So that means
Identifying,
we should first,
yes,
like I said, recognize. So it means that
yes,
you're affirming my words. It means we should recognize
exactly.
our traumas and identify that we have traumas first
Mm-hmm.
before we get in the
Identify,
healing process. Yeah.
yes, you need
Okay.
to identify your own trauma
Yeah.
and then dive into yourself deeply. It
Okay.
needs a spiritual, both spiritual cleansing and mental cleansing.
Okay.
So it's not something that you cannot identify. So identification is very important. And
So
then the
okay.
second thing is to go about it. How are you going to go about it? Because
Yeah.
your traumatic experience and mine can be quite different. Your
Yeah.
coping mechanism and your mechanism of dealing with situations or predicaments might be different from me and you.
Sure.
So
Mm-hmm.
you must find activities or things that you like to do and
Yeah.
focus on them, okay, and be
Yeah.
ready to always confront those trauma response or those experience or those triggers that are coming around you or from your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I said, it's not a one day thing. So sometimes the wound will open up as bigger as you can never imagine. They always come because we are triggered and emotionally sometimes we are down as human beings. So obviously they will be resurfacing all the time. So
So the
make sure,
so
yeah,
the first step to your the first step to, let's say, healing, if you
is
have trauma, is
identification.
first identifying the trauma. And the
Yes,
second step is how to go about it. So, under
about
how to go about it, I would just ask the question before you go to the third step, which is, do you think how to go about it involves professional seeking professional knowledge or professional support, advice, or whatever? Do you think it's important for an individual going through trauma to seek for a professional help?
yeah, it's important, but I just want to say sometimes you need it individually. It can
All
be
right.
a communal thing as well. Yeah, it can be, going out to the community or going around a group of people that might have common or might
Mhm.
have similar traumatic or experience that you have. But the
Okay.
best way to heal is starting a journey on your own. And part of it is trying to seek professional help,
Yeah.
you know, going, by yourself, demal sa bopa, pour request for a professional help. And su fekkee ne yaa ngi Gambia mu nekk dëkk boo xamante ne let's say therapy bariwut or rehabilitation amut, I think all you need to do is start to live outside the life you've ever known. You start experiencing new things, taking out new things and new hobbies. It helps a lot, you
Should
know.
I give you my opinion?
Yes.
I'm not being sarcastic, neither am I being funny, but I think trauma needs a lot of money. Like healing from trauma needs a lot of finances.
Girl, you always talk about
I know.
money, and
I
I
know that's
love
my
that
trauma.
energy. I love it. I
That's
love
my
the
trauma.
energy, you
But
know.
yeah, what I'm saying is I think when it comes to healing your trauma as an individual, my own point of view, not from a professional point of view, from my experience and dealing with people, I think I'm just gonna give you my experience today. I had someone I have been working with, and she's a service user. What she does is she just sits down and sometimes harm herself or something like that. That's my experience today. So I had to rush her to the hospital. So while sitting with her, I asked her a question. I said, whilst you were harming yourself, they were telling you something. They were telling you how great you are, how competent you are. Do you believe that you're competent? She said no. She said no, she doesn't
Yeah,
believe
she,
it. So
mhm, mhm.
why I am bringing the scenario up is I didn't say anything after that because that's her opinion and I don't want to contradict it. But gradually, what we do as personal, like mental health support workers, is just make sure that we try to inculcate positivity in their in their head. They have to remember that they're good, they're this, everything that's positive. But why I brought that scenario is because I think the greatest part of healing is to be kind to yourself. Talk positively to
Very
yourself.
important. Yeah.
Yeah, talk positively to yourself. Recognize your strengths. Even if there are weaknesses, recognize them, acknowledge them, and work on them. So, like, I believe the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is stand on the mirror and tell myself I am beautiful. So if I go out, whether anyone tells me or not, I know because I have
That is
already told
because,
myself.
yeah, Lolo is because of danga am self awareness.
Yeah.
No, and nekkul ñëpp a mun a identify loolu moo tax ma ne la sa second step after identifying them, you need to know how to go about it, and
Mm-hmm.
as well as confrontation of those traumas. But if
True.
you don't have the ability or the know-how, or maybe amuloo an advice from an expert, it's going to be always difficult because xëy na jigéen boobu noonu soo xoolee history maybe si abusive home la jógee. xëy na depuis mu nekk xale ñu ngi ko abuse, ñu ngi wax ne okay, you are not enough, danga ñaaw.
Yeah.
Sometimes we play with some of these things
You know.
and we don't even know how it harms us, like it's traumatic. So part
Yes.
of la traumatized, and trauma
Mm-hmm.
dem na ba to an extent bi nga xamante ne mun na laa jox a personality disorder.
Yeah.
Narcissists yi nga gis ni yëpp, and other psycho people around or in the society, it's just because of traumatic events like abuses, violations yi nga xamante ne xëju si seen yaram yi. So moo
Yeah.
tax it
So dama ñëw up
mhm,
with some of the few steps. Yi nga xamante ne I really want us to discuss them before the end of the program. And the first step is the
mhm.
acknowledgement of the trauma, which you have clearly stated. And the second step is like seeking or not seeking, but the way to solve your trauma. You need to find a way, right? So that is the second step. The third step is practicing self-compassion. Comme lu ma la
Yes.
jógee wax nii rek. The fourth step is establishing like safety. Um, I don't know whether you can dwell into that, but I can just give you like I can just mun naa la jox example lan la mean by establishing safety, because you need to establish safety with yourself. Like for instance, you need to rebuild within yourself the confidence. Comme lu ñu nekk di wax rek la, the confidence to believe in yourself, the know-how. You need to be able to put yourself in a situation where you say you're going to do this and you are going to do it. So come that that should be there. Like I said, I will leave you to buttress on that. Nga ibiko, gen ko yatal, and then we talk about it. But the other thing you said, which is the spiritual, that's the mind and body connection, is something that I want you to dwell into, because people need to understand. Because if you don't know yourself, you cannot know where your traumas are coming from. You cannot even identify those traumas because to you it's normal. To you, you are perfect. And if I have a problem with 10 people about the same thing about me, please, they're not the problem. I am. So we need to be able to we need to be at a situation in our lives where we are able and willing to identify, recognize, and accept things that we are seeing. Yung ko gis ak suñ buti, waaye ñu ngee bañ, you know. That's the other step I want us to discuss. The other thing I want us to discuss is to what do you think is the best way for people going through trauma to express themselves, is also something I want us to discuss, because nekkul ñëpp a mun a wax. Am na ñoo xam ne dañoo ñëw si yow rek ñu joy. They cannot tell you what is wrong with them. They just come to you and they cry their eyes out, or they just, some people will self-harm, some people will do other things. So how do you think they can convert their, let's say, conversations, or they can convert their expression through, like, yeah, which ways, that will also help. And then, is it important for them to have support networks, like people around them that is going to, like, that are going to reinstate them, reinforce them, motivate them, keep on pushing them? Is it important for them to have that, or do you think they are supposed to be self-motivated? I don't know whether you're remembering everything I'm saying, but we need to talk about
Yeah,
this.
but I think, yeah, just take me back to the first thing you have mentioned.
Okay, the
Yeah.
first thing is practicing compassion, but I want you to dwell on the mind and body connection more.
Okay. You see, you cannot heal without making peace to yourself.
Yeah.
Yes. Because naturally, like organically, we are made or we are created to be peaceful with ourselves
Yeah.
until cultures come. Until cultures came, belief system came, societal norms and values came, and the metrics came, we are lost. Okay? We don't know how to make peace to
Are you
ourselves.
lost?
Yes, we don't know the most
I
important
am not
things in
lost.
life.
I'm sorry. I am not lost. Okay, continue.
Okay? We
Yeah.
don't we now, you know, are just with our egos, like the inner child that is whispering all day. Okay,
Yeah.
Fatima, you need to get a job. From this job, you need to drive a Lexus car. From that Lexus car, you need to build a mansion. So we have abandoned the peace side of ourselves, and that
Yeah.
is what is just fueling more of our traumas without even realizing it.
So what
And
is the peace side
unfortunately,
of ourselves?
our peace side of ourselves is paying gratitude for us witnessing another day. The
Because Fatima, I
peaceful
will really
side,
disagree with you if you tell me that I should not think about my Lexus, my next job, and my money and my mansion. I'll
no,
disagree.
because you know what? Because
Yeah.
why I say that, you only believe, for example, people talking about that feel a little more fulfillment of life.
Mm-hmm.
Having those things is not wrong and it should be,
Mm-hmm.
okay? But you cannot have those things and tell me you will be happy, okay?
Yeah.
Part of the ego dafa nekk comme a child. Tey xale
Yeah.
soo ko jëndalee doomi tubaab tey,
Mm-hmm.
balaa ngoon dafa sànni doomi tubaab bi mu ngi request leneen.
Yeah. That's it.
That's it. That's
That's
how
true.
we are operating. Today we
Mm-hmm.
buy a car, balaa next year we are thinking of a Ford. Balaa beneen next year ñu ngi am plan pour def leneen. So we just think it and want to have it. But suñ ko amee is not still what we want.
Yeah.
You understand? But
Mm-hmm.
if you are peaceful with yourself, having it or not, life will be smooth and goes on for you.
Okay.
I don't know. It's deeper than,
So go deep. That's why we are here. People want to go deep.
yes.
So go
It's
deep.
deeper than how
Because
people
if I
say.
have to be honest with you, I'm just saying okay, but I am not agreeing. And I know there are a
Yes.
lot of people out there that are not agreeing. So we don't understand. Go deep with us. No,
I
as
wish
long
I
as it
could
has to
see
do
the
with money,
comment.
car,
I could
compound,
see the
I will not
comment.
agree.
You
Yeah, okay, go
see,
on.
you know, the way we are brought up,
Yeah,
we are taught to idealize luxury.
yeah.
Okay, say we are 30 years, 31 years. So next minute,
Man, nekkuma tati de. Maa ngi 18. We ask
yeah,
madam.
be serious. People are watching.
All right, I'm just giving this program a little bit of humor because it's
Yeah,
something serious and people are
yeah,
going through a lot. Maybe someone is
mm-hmm.
watching you and crying because she's going through stuff. So
Yes,
sometimes you just have to laugh about things and then we have to make things funny. Like we said, life is just 3 days, yesterday,
yeah,
today, and tomorrow. So we don't
mm-hmm.
have to make today horrible when we don't know what tomorrow is. And we are
Is yeah,
making today horrible because of yesterday. So things
mm-hmm.
like that, man, I just love making things more humor, more funny. We laugh
Yeah,
about things, even though I know it's serious, and even though I know people are going through stuff. Hunger. So
yes.
that's all. So sometimes you have to be able to do that. Why? Let me just clarify and we continue. I am not 30. So continue.
Okay, girl,
Yeah.
you were 25. All right.
No, 18.
So
Yeah.
yes. So what I'm trying to explain here is
Yeah.
Komli Malaware, connecting everything back to the childhood.
Mm-hmm.
Say, for example, when you have a child that will tell you, "Mama ge fita la buganeka."
Mm-hmm.
Like yo danga wisha hale bobu judo because danga fit ne amut ing.
No, no,
And
why?
perhaps no. Comme example like xam nga ñun dinañ understand loolu man if my child comes to me and
That's a
feel
full
ne moom.
engineer. What are you saying? Engineering is money.
But we don't know it here. If we say engineering, nekkul maire yu bëri ñoo ko xam.
Wow.
Waaye fii because of ñu ngi gis ñooñu ñu ngi tilim ñu ngi somehow nekk si moto yi yaaxu yi ak yooyu noonu. Feel lañ ne ok tey da nga war a am bachelor's degree. Comme li ma la wax rek Gambia yëpp trauma la dama la ko dee wax all the time ma ne la Gambia soo bëggee gis real traumatic event Gambia si boppam trauma la. Because tey soo gisee nit ñi ñaaka métier ba nga xamante ne externally nit ñi dañoo ñëw di leeta ñii di fix nails perfectly ay foreigners tey soo waree dem fix correct nails si Gambia bi ay Chinese la wala
That's
naar
true.
wala Nigerian you understand yeah so loolu la dañ ñu gëmloo li nga xamante ne ñun dañ koo bugg a nekka but dañoo wax ne déedéet yéen doo leen nekka loolu noonu ñun lii lañ bugg a nga nekka because of doomi diw wala si family bi sax yow yaa war a break generational curse bii nii so we are taught to break generational curse with materialism instead of letting us to emotionally process ourselves to naturally find our abilities and our capabilities and as well as our true self defuñ loolu noonu so dafa am barrière bi fa nekk bi nga xamante ne tey soo àggee 30 years for example dawaluloo moto rek yow tekkiwuloo yeah and that's the ego because
I believe that Lolo is just an ideology, and it just has a group of people. Ñi nga xamantene ñoo believe in it. Come, there's this a lot of saying, bi nga xamantene li lañ dee wax, li ngay jaay, moo lay jaay, because you want to show off to have probably something bigger. But I believe that brings us back to what I was telling you about, which is connecting yourself to your bigger self. Your body and your mind connection is really something that is important as human beings. And for me, my own contribution when it comes to body and mind connection as individual, outside of these fictional things, outside of the car, the money, even though I love them, but outside of them is mindfulness. I believe that as an individual, if you do not practice mindfulness, then sona. Because mindfulness, I know there are lots of people listening, both Christians, Muslim, and other belief systems, but I am a Muslim, so I will talk about it from a Muslim's point of view. As a Muslim, mindfulness means differently to different people. But me as a Muslim, mindfulness is when I sit on that prayer mat and I pray, not just praying. After praying, I sit down for 10 or 20 or even 30 minutes quietly, just to myself, reminding myself why I am here, reminding myself of my creation, reminding myself of my purpose. That is something that it will separate you apart from a lot of other people, because lu more def moy daf la even remind of your traumas. That mindfulness bi nga xamantene man dama ko de ànd ak breathing. I call it mindfulness, but it's literally like zikar. Talk ngay fàttaliku yàlla waaye tamit nga ko àndale ak like a breathing bi nga xamantene 4-4-4 system laa ko de ooyee the 4-4-4 technique of breathing, which is breathing in for 4 seconds, holding it in for 4 seconds, and releasing it for 4 seconds. Man, I get to realize that no matter how pissed, no matter how angry, or no matter what kind of situation I am in, if I get myself back to the mindfulness, I get myself at the calmest I can. Because what happened is lola de def suma jamu yala. So suma ko defe even outside, if I'm not good or I'm not happy or something is trying to bring my anxiety up. Like I said, we all have our traumas and our anxieties. I find a way to calm myself down because I know what triggers me. Xam nga? So man, dama bëggoon nga dive deep into that, because I know there are lots of people out there ñi nga xamantene dañoo jóg julli jóg dem. That's it. Because they know they're worshiping God, and which they are doing. Why? That's it. Sa diggante ak yàlla
no
foofu
no
noonu. That's
no
it.
foog naa jànga danga ma yaakamti rek bon maa ngi doon ñëw si yooyu noonu sax
Yeah.
bu baax a
Okay.
baax because yow xam nga ma ak spirituality when it
Yeah.
comes to spirituality
Yeah.
ba xam naa danga yaakamte woon rek I
We
know
have we have 36 minutes gone. I'm sure people are really interested in this show, but we
Yeah.
still need to start wrapping up. So, Lolomota, I'm just bringing you back because we are
Yeah.
still going back and talking about what people are going through. And I think we are supposed to be focusing on the solutions and what they should do right now to get themselves out of it. Because, bugun, xam nañ ne sona nañ, Gambia ni sona nañ, gis nga
Yeah.
man suma trauma mooy brokenness. I'm telling you, I don't like being broke. So, I know a lot of Gambians are going through that. And apart from that, there are a lot of other
You
things that
for
Gambians.
you the fundraising, sir. Like that
I
you
know.
broke that very.
I know. Seriously, I know. But at the end of the day, the most important thing is recognize your trauma, work on them, make yourself recognize that trauma before them through that, through the process of the healing, personally, be kind to yourself, and all of these steps in Hamantene you mention, yeah, is diving deep. Hamna na nga tay. Yo yama gonna tay, man, let's do it. You want to take your time and break it into pieces, one, and
No,
it's
you
just a
are
30
good.
minutes.
You are all good. Danaka lima wara was yip wax nga ko, but lima don try pour wax rek moy the
Yeah.
peaceful part and the
Yeah.
ego. So
Mm-hmm.
loolu laa doon try pour jéema faram fànja pour nit ñi understand ko bu baax. Because
Yeah.
tey julli bi nga wax nii nga ñëw toog tey
Mm-hmm.
um, peace la is peace when you can sit nekkul ñëpp a mun toog 20 minutes si benn place ñuy jaamu yàlla after suñ selmale
Mm-hmm.
you know others dañoo selmal rek ñu jóg ñu dem that's
Don't
the
get me
ego
wrong, I
because
don't do it all the time.
yes because of dara
Yeah.
ñu ngi race dañ leen build up to be racing
Yeah.
even though wax nañ leen ne ok ngeen jaamu yàlla tey nit ñi dañoo oor ñu julli ñu dem maaka sax ñu génnee charité.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, girl, they are not even connected to their own soul. They don't
Mm-hmm.
even know the state of their own soul.
True.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And lulu dafa sad. Boka na silinga hamantane we cannot heal because the healing should definitely start from the root of your
Mm-hmm.
existence, which is
Yeah.
your soul. So soul bobu nono all the time manela ne dafa need connection from a soul. Binga hamantane mom moko mom from a
Mm-hmm.
source la ko needed. So because of the ego we are raised with, because of materialistic aspect being a xamante dañ ko dugal ci suñ boppa we
Mm-hmm.
cannot make peace with ourselves.
Yeah.
Even so xoolee nuñ dee Chile is not peaceful. I mean I cannot go around a booming music ma feel ne loolu moo ma indil happiness. Like
Yeah.
you will dance di nga ñaaxa ba tooy xep at the end of the day dangaa dem egg ci sa kawlal nga nelaw wala nga jooy. That's happening. You know,
That's
it's
true.
serious
Yeah.
because we don't know how to make peace with ourselves. ñun feel
Mm-hmm.
nañ ne sa dem toog si ron garab di meditate feel nañ ne ànda yow keena sax toog génna tey nga feel ne ok man keena maa génna
Mm-hmm.
Gambia commonut fii nii pour nga gis nit ki mu solu bem nice
Mm-hmm.
waxut keneen ne kaay gunge ma dem.
Yeah.
Okay, we want to fill that void from
Mm-hmm.
people.
Yeah.
And loolu moo yokka suñ trauma bi because soo gisee tey ñu mun a feel ne ok sëy mooy tax suñ trauma yi heal nga dem sa sëy boobu noonu mu ubbiwaat trauma yëpp is a
which
problem.
is which is going to take us to my next topic for this show. And if anyone that's watching and is interested should stay, because we are going to talk about the traumas women go through, especially in their marital homes. You have dealt with a lot of women, and I know that is something that we cannot talk about all in this show. But we could be able to talk about it in our next program, where you will tell us things that you have come across and the traumas you think women are going through in their marital homes. I know men also go through traumas, but men, I'm sorry for now. I'm so particular about women for now. So after women, we'll come to you. But yeah,
moytu
we
ñu
have to talk
all
about.
feminist de because
I'm not.
góor yi
I'm
moom
not. No, I'm not a feminist. I'm a
yes
genderist.
they're easy to say that
Genderist.
bunch of feminists.
I know. I don't care. But anyway, yeah. Dinañ ñëwaat pour wax leen naka la jigéen ñi nekk di dundee seen néeg yi ak lan lañ foog ne jigéen ñi loolu lañ war a def to have more peace in their homes, because jigéen bu gën a bugg a sëy moo gën a nekk di face traumas, for instance. So we will talk about it ba pare dinañ leen andi solutions yi nga xamante ne this will keep you going. And then suñ paree si programme bi xam nañ ne am na góor yu bari ñoo mere waaye nag da ngeen ñoo baalal rek ngeen xam ne seen sister si seen aunties and yaay ñoom la ñoo dimbale parce que su du loolu du baax. So yaay, we have spoken so much about healing, even though I'm still not satisfied about it. But I think in the next episode we will talk more about it because we have already taken 40 minutes of everyone's time, and the program was supposed to be 30 minutes. So I have nga yéen daf dee neex ba nga xamante ne.
Yeah, loolu
Um
la ba pare nga daf dee nekk a wide range of topic bi nga xamante
yeah,
ne doo mën a jeexal within a short period of time. Ba pare dafa
yes.
am details yi nga xamante ne tamit soo ko waree skip
Mm-hmm.
probably nit ñuy seetaan duñ understand. But
Yeah.
I just want to say quickly, like, let's embrace the peace side of ourselves.
All
Let's
right.
do not think that other people are responsible for our happiness. We
Mm-hmm.
are solely responsible for our happiness, and
Mm-hmm.
we need to understand tamit doo xëy rek nga feel ne danga heal. No,
Mm-hmm.
healing could be a different thing
Yeah.
from different people. Man ni maa
Okay.
healee ak yow ni nga healee nekkut benn. Man, when it comes to healing, I think I find myself being spiritually connected. Whenever I want to heal from something, like damare am that spiritual highness of myself. Okay, nekut only Julie or anything, but I make sure my weight at suma bopo bu baha baha ba. I make sure
That's
to,
it. Yeah.
yes, where. So it's very important. So for now, this is it, and I think this was helpful as well. Mun naa tamit ñu discuss ko ci background bi pour continuer to give some of the tips, and I think tips yi moom yàgg nañ di ko fi lim bu baax a baax a baax, comme just like last episode rek am na tips yu ma doon lim about trauma, comme naka nga mun a génne out of that trauma. So I think it's the same thing um, to go through healing. So if you haven't watched that, you can connect back to it and watch it. So this is
Thank
it.
you so much,
In your
Yai.
job.
And like I said, we are happy to have you, and we will always, always be happy to have you. As long as we are talking about personal growth, trauma, and healing, we are with you 100%. And I'm sure that you will never disappoint because you have never disappointed. The mala olu, gum la bepa ma feel ne come askan bit nenjanga lu body si yo because you have helped women personally. Nga man man ham na len, from a traumatic situation to probably what they are today, to a healed individual, a perfectly healed individual. So therefore, we have to thank the Gunju Online TV and all of everyone out there that is watching this program. And we will let you know, tell you that we are going to come better and bigger every time you come here. So stay tuned and don't forget to click in. Whenever we are coming, we will let you know. And it's all about personal growth and self-development. Love yourself, grow yourself, and I will leave you with this to go and have a good night and see you in the next program. It was your sister Fatima, and it was actually Fatima Squire. Bye and see
Bye.
you. Bye and see you in the next program. Thank you.